There's technology. You'll have to forgive the dark, dank location, but to film this, I needed to find a private spot away from the inquisitive eyes of the Great City. Upstairs and outdoors is actually quite bright, and for a subterranean city, there is a beautiful amount of greenery and color. Today, and for the next 2 chapters, hopefully 2 chapters, I will be introducing you to the Great City of Rathgar. I am Planesmapper John, and you're watching my guide to Layothe, Volume 2. Before I begin remarking on what has changed since my first visit, I must lay down 2 things that haven't. First, there is still no sun. Utterly fascinating. The planet, Layothe, exists in the void, possibly orbiting nothing, but warmed by the fires inside its heart and lit on the surface by enormous, ever-burning trees, and of course, stars. I will cover the wonders of the surface and its denizens in another series. Second, the dead rise to walk and meet their maker. Last time, on the occasions when I witnessed this, there were never any threat. That is apparently not the case now. They have attacked the living, and this is because of certain complex situations that have arisen since. I may get to expounding this later in the series. Glimleon chooses creatures of a certain aptitude, those presumably he can have a real conversation with, for what else is there in life, whether or not they speak. These rise back up after they have died and move in a trance the long journey to their maker, Glimleon. On this, my second trip to the world of Layothe, I went back to see what had happened to the dwarves and gnomes that had lived in a humongous subterranean, almost utopian-like cavern. Previously, their home was a quaint village known as Thorpe, or the Village. They were a simplistic, naive people, yet apparently gifted with reading and writing despite being born yesterday. Literally. How Glimleon gets away with his work of creating the way he does, well, I suppose the answer is he does. By this time, they had created an advanced medieval city, bursting at its seams. They'd since begun calling it after a new name after their first king, King Rathgar, whom I had met the first time but has now been dead several centuries. Rathgar exists in a very wide, bowl-shaped valley under a vaulted stone roof. In this roof are a heavenly body of phoenixes that nest and fly in the upper reaches, eating bats and bugs and radiating intense orange light. Resting together and rising together, they go in cycles of roughly 24 hours. Apart from these familiar effects, these many lights from so many moving sources means they are creating constant dancing shadows. It can make a newcomer feel uneasy, but to a born and bred citizen, if they bother to take time to notice, it is the beauty of their flock of light. There are these many phoenixes create a brightness similar to the sun of Midgard, Faerun, or even Earth. Well, relatively the same due to their proximity over the city. Lake Erie only looked the more massive as it hangs perilously above the city, held in place by a stone rim, much like a bowl on the edge of a table overlooking the chairs and floor. The only river had been made into an aqueduct, and this is causing some strife, as the river served to water the forest on the west side of Rathgar, and now those tree tenders, the Arborin, stretch to acquire water from the king's aqueduct. Well, that's all for today. Alonzi!